look at this. We got that done in 45 seconds. Jalen will jump his car for now, and you'll buy him a new battery.
All right. Well,
we make things happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy him a new battery, but hopefully Dave just goes straight to the AutoZone or wherever.
Dave, I've got Jay's card number. Just hit me up later.
Let's see. Get pulling for you.
As far as you know.
That's right. Yeah, it's got money on it as far as you know. Lulu Kesson will join us. She, of course, on the Gamecocks beat for the Greenville News. She'll be with us at 3:30 with her take on what's going on around Carolina football. Shane Beamer will speak again tonight at 7 on Carolina Calls. We'll have it for you right here across the Gamecock Radio Network, so looking forward to that. And if you're here in Columbia, that's at Backstreets, right up the hill from 5 Points. You know where it is?
It's in 5 Points.
No, it's not in 5 Points, right at the hill from 5 Points. But do you know which direction? If you pointed right now, would you be able to point to where
That
Backstreets
way.
is? Which way?
This away.
You were almost right.
That way.
Nope, not that way. No,
This way.
There, that one. That's the one. That's the one. Nice job. Nice job. Look at you.
You know what's sad? I've been here 4 years. I still don't know where the hell I'm going. Is that sad?
Yeah, well, it's easy to orient yourself downtown because downtown is laid out north, south, east, west.
I'm okay downtown. I'm okay. As once you get me out of downtown, I got troubles.
Yeah. So, well, hey, sometimes I do. I was like, man, I've never been over here before.
I should be like you.
Life.
I need to have a small circle of radius of life.
You know what? It's helpful.
I don't get lost as much.
It's helpful.
I like that.
I don't mind admitting. I will tell all of you right now. I don't mind admitting this at all. I've never lived more than 3 miles from the South Carolina State House. Other than a very brief time when my parents lived at Whitehall, which is probably like, 6 or 7 miles? And then they moved back to town, and the rest is history.
It's funny that you spent almost your entire life within 3 miles of the State House.
Within, yeah. I mean, in fact, it's probably like 2.5 miles.
You might be the only person I've ever met that's lived like that.
I mean, what about people that live in like Manhattan?
Remember, a lot of people I know are typically don't have real addresses.
Oh, I see what you think. Yeah. Well,
or real names.
I don't mind at all. I live in Columbia.
You're relatively crime free.
Sure. But I mean, it's nothing against Lexington or Irmo or
you just like
Blythewood.
Look,
most of what I've my family or I or my wife have either been in government or like what I do here, and we've been here a long time now. And I go to tons of stuff at Carolina. Right? It's just easier, man.
Makes sense.
You're
all right.
Grocery store around the corner.
But I like to watch how comfortable you are when you're outside of your 5 or 10 mile radius. You're quite comfortable.
It depends on where I am and how much beer there is. I'm very comfortable at British Bulldog.
Yeah, the more beer
that's about 10 miles.
Yeah, that's good because they have beer.
Yes, they do, and good food.
Beer can make you comfortable.
Yeah, they have tons of beer and tons of good food, so that helps. Anyway, there's that for you. The Super Bowl, the NFL, the Super Bowl's later. The NFL season kicks off tonight. And with that, as is an annual tradition, not just for us here on this program, but on programs all across the country, we will make our Super Bowl predictions because you got to go ahead and do that. You can't wait till, week 12.
Right. Saints, Browns.
I'm pulling for Deuce, man, so I hope so.
The good thing about Deuce, you don't get paid by win.
No, here's a good thing for Deuce in terms of the Super Bowl. He has won a Super Bowl as a player and as a coach.
Yeah, so he's got rings.
So he's good.
He's fine. He's getting paid and he's got rings. Life's good. Life's good for Deuce.
And his Eagles ring doesn't even fit my thumb.
Oh, I believe it.
It's so big. It is so big. I've worn the Steelers one too, but the Eagles ring from a couple of years
These
ago.
rings get more and more ridiculous.
It's spectacular.
Did you see you saw they get insane.
Yeah. Well,
insane.
Good for those.
I saw a picture of that Eagles one.
Yeah.
For this year,
it's nice.
It's a thing.
It's nice, but we'll make our Super Bowl picks a little bit later. And if you'd like to make yours, hit us up on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Hit us up on the text line. We'll get that done for you.
I'll throw
too.
you a little nugget too. I saw today.
All right.
As I was reading up on this.
Roughly
in the last few years. Well, someone read it to me.
That's good.
I've got ESPN on audio.
That's good.
In the last, I forget, 3, 4, 5 years, roughly almost 50% of the teams that win the division repeat as division title winners the following year. So roughly 4 of 8 division winners by these latest trends will repeat. So think about which 4 in your mind will repeat. I think 3 are pretty easy.
Buffalo.
Yep.
Philadelphia. Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Baltimore win the division?
Yep.
Baltimore.
Here's the thing about the NFC East.
I think Houston is going to win their division.
I have been leaning more toward Houston repeating, not because I love Houston so much. The rest of the division stinks. And I can't buy into Liam Cohen. He's got to show me something in Jacksonville. Philadelphia, in theory, is a great pick, but there has not been a repeat winner of the NFC East since 2003-2004.
Really?
That's a phenomenal stat in a league built with parity.
Well, it won't be the Giants, but I think a case can, despite Micah moving on, I think there's a case that can be made for Dallas. There's a case to be made for Washington. Because what did Washington end up?
12-5.
2 games back?
Yeah. And I'll say this, Philly, because it's a salary cap sport, you can't keep everybody when you start paying people. And Philly did lose some folks, and they got some young guys they really like. But you could see it falling a couple games back. And, let's say Washington, who, by the way, has the oldest roster in the league.
That's weird.
Let's say if Washington can win an extra game or maybe stay where they're at. And the thing with Dallas, isn't it when we count Dallas out the most, they come up with one of these stupid, really good years?
I don't know. I mean, what's a really good year? Because they haven't had a really good year in 30 years.
Well, to be fair, they won a division title, some division titles recently, double-digit win seasons. They just can't
But they
win
haven't
the
even
playoffs.
made an NFC championship
They can't win the playoffs. Well, that's what's killed them. Mike McCarthy, the only other coach to win more games than Mike McCarthy in his first, 5 years in Dallas was Jimmy Johnson.
How'd he do?
He won Super Bowls.
He did all right.
And guess what Mike McCarthy couldn't do? Win playoff games.
Yeah.
So,
and Mike McCarthy won the Super Bowl.
Yes, in Green Bay.
Somewhere else.
Somewhere else. And so Dallas has been weird. They've had some successful regular seasons, but they've just, soiled themselves badly in the playoffs last 5-6 years.
They're not, because they're not built for it.
No, they're not.
And then that's the general manager's problem.
The weakness,
and if the owner needs to fire the general manager, and maybe things would get better in Dallas.
I tell you what, man, if the owner would fire the general manager, that could change the entire course of the Cowboys.
Wonder why he hasn't, but
why do you think he hasn't?
It's a mystery. Loyalty.
Probably.
Yeah. Or maybe
he's had the guy's been around a long time.
Yeah. I
think kind of joined at the hip.
It's kind of a hands-off owner.
Yeah, he doesn't really meddle.
So he just wants the GM to just go do his job. Man. It's a good owner. It's a good owner. That's what you want, right?
How many
you want a hands-off owner that just says, "Hey, boys, go do your job."
You know what? You don't see him much. Very low profile guy.
That's a good owner.
Good owner. Lets football people do the decision making.
The irony is, he is a pretty good owner. He's just a wretched general manager.
Well, here's the problem.
And I imagine all of you know, but so we don't sound too coy, Jerry, of course, does both.
Right. And look,
and has basically the entire time.
Jerry Jones, the businessman, is a genius.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame businessman. The problem is, he's an awful GM.
Yes.
And he can't see that.
And he doesn't, and nobody can tell him.
And look, if anybody did, and look, maybe his sons looked at him and said, "You screw the inheritance, Dad. You suck as a GM."
Yeah, they're not doing that.
They're not.
Well, we joke. You and I joked, but we only kind of half joke that Stephen, the son, pulled the card one time on the Johnny Manziel thing because Jarrah
had to, man.
Jarrah had convinced himself that Johnny Manziel was going to be the new Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
And Stephen was like, yeah, Dad, seriously, no. And that's it. And that's it. Other than that, have we ever heard of Stephen really stepping in?
Not that we know of, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had to say no.
That
Dad,
one went public.
We can't pick that guy.
At least as public as that can go.
Yeah. And, well, and like you and I said, hopefully Stephen has watched this, and when he gets control, he's going to have a press conference, and he'll say this: "Everything my dad did on the football side, I'm going to do the opposite."
Right. Like George. Anyway, good Seinfeld. All right.
I love that Seinfeld
But we do have the game tonight. Philadelphia is hosting Dallas, 7.5-point favorites. I think I like Philadelphia. Listen, I think Philadelphia is built to repeat. I'm not telling you that's going to be the Super Bowl pick I make later in today's program. but I think they are built to win this thing again. Because if for no other reason, Terry, like the Chiefs before them, like what we've seen with the Patriots, remember, well, I know all of you do remember, but Philadelphia has been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. I mean,
Yeah.
So this is a franchise that is now entrenched and fully understands it is, as we just mentioned about Dallas not being built for the postseason, the Philadelphia Eagles are. They are built to, and they have.
And look, they're going to be there. They're going to be in that mix, man. Even if they don't win the NFC East, because it seems like nobody repeats anymore, they're going to be in the playoffs as a
I'll be
wild
surprised
card
if
team.
they don't, though. I'll be. I think Washington is the truest competitor. I love Jaden. Jaden's got to follow up a hell of a year with another one, and because that immediately becomes the expectation.
Yep. And remember
fair
that
or
C.J.
not.
Stroud was Jaden Daniels last year, and C.J. Stroud was not as good.
Yeah.
And the Texans weren't as good.
I don't think the Texans are just.
I think the Texans failed C.J. Stroud
Yeah.
in year 2. That offensive line was a mess.
Yeah,
and it might be a mess again this year.
It might. I
But
don't know.
I think, look, I'm totally buying into Daniels. I think he's going to be a hell of a quarterback. I don't think there's going to be a big regression. We'll see in the East, but the Eagles are going to be there regardless.
Yeah.
They're talented.
We got some sound coming up for you from coaches Mike Shula and Clayton White, who spoke ahead of the SC State game. Again, Lulu Kesson will join us with her take on what's going on around Carolina football coming up in about 20 minutes or so. And on the other side, speaking of the NFL, we've got a signal calling, if you will. You get it. Start, bench, drop. See what you guys think of these ahead of tonight's NFL opener. And again, if you want to make your Super Bowl picks, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter at jphillips1075 or on the Firehouse Subs text line 803-404-6100. Lots more to do as we get closer to Carolina and SC State, the home opener at Williams-Brice. It's the Thursday postgame show.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I can only imagine. I try to put myself in their shoes, you know, in their last year at this time, what they were doing, and even, you know, at the end of last year compared to what they just went through and the experience that they had in you know, first time against a really, really good football team in that atmosphere in that stadium. I mean, that was really cool. So I thought for the most part they did a good job. You know, I probably. You know, probably about what we expected. Obviously, we all want to be more productive, and as receivers and freshmen, as coordinators, and all that. But it's just good to kind of get going now and get those guys in and playing. So each week, as we all know, with whatever we're doing, we should be better at what we're doing through experience. And I think that was probably the best thing about that. So on to week 2 for those guys.
Mike Shula on how his offense is playing and what they've been through, as he said, over the course of the last couple of years, getting ready for a big-time opponent like Virginia Tech. Now the home opener on Saturday. Welcome back in, Jay and Terry, the post-game show here on this Thursday. Lulu Kesson will join us coming up in a little bit with her take on what's going on the beat for the Greenville News. And later we'll have our picks for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, my Broncos signed Nick Bonito to a big new deal today. Yeah, I don't know if that's a lot of money. He's solid.
Yeah,
he's no Von Miller, but he's good.
That's a lot of money. No, he's no Von Miller. No, not at all. He's no Von Bonito. But he's a solid player.
He's good.
He's a solid player. Now again, you want to say, well, is that the market for a player that's solid?
$70 million guaranteed, could rise with incentives to $120 million over 4 years.
I look at it this way. Look, I get Denver. You're trying to lock up the core, and you want to get it done earlier than later because last time I checked, these salaries just go up.
Yeah.
And basically what Denver's doing is saying, let's watch Dallas and do the opposite.
Right.
And you're just hoping, obviously, old Nick stays healthy and continues to be productive. And these deals are only 2-3 years anyway, Jay, once you break them down. So, as long as you're smart and you stay ahead of it, you're not going to put yourself in like cap hell.
They're looking at a 3 year. They're looking at $70 million guaranteed with some incentives for 3 years.
And then you look at, okay, what's the injury guarantees? Because you never get the injury guarantees because they get rid of you before that happens.
Right.
So, not seeing the contract language, you would say it's probably a good deal for a good player. Does that make sense?
That's what I think. That's exactly what I think. Yeah. So, but I'm glad. We'll see.
But you're not See, you're very objective when it comes to the Broncos. That's what I like about you.
Most of the time. Most of the time. I try.
Well, I do seriously. Bill Barnwell yesterday when Bill Barnwell said the Broncos weren't going to make the playoffs.
Well, he's wrong. That's easy. That's not. He's just. I mean, sometimes people are wrong, Terry, and that's one of those times. Today's start bench drop does not feature Bo Nix.
Good, because I'd be dropping.
You
Bo
want
Nix.
some objectivity? Well, it depends, man. Who am I putting him up against? Right.
Ready, Johnny Manziel. No, go ahead.
Now, today's start bench drop does feature 3 of the top-rated and most successful quarterbacks currently in the NFL, and they are in alphabetical order: Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP; Lamar Jackson, 2-time league MVP; and Patrick Mahomes, who has won both the Super Bowl MVP and a league MVP. And I say on here, rate them however you see fit. If you want to rate them in terms of what you think they're going to do this season, have at it. If you want to go by resume, have at it.
And how much do you value postseason resume?
Yeah, the whole, however you want to look at it. So I'm not here to say, because I mean, obviously Mahomes is going to be the most decorated. And, I think a lot of us are still waiting, and many are hoping Lamar gets himself to a Super Bowl and has a chance to win one because he is that good and that popular.
The blank spot on that resume is postseason success.
I mean, just a couple of playoff wins, right?
And it's been a goofy. They're goofy in the postseason, man. Like last year, Lamar didn't turn the ball over last year. Wasn't a fumbler. Didn't throw picks. And what did he do? He had some bad turnovers in the loss to the Bills.
Yeah.
It's just that to have drops. Mark Andrews dropping the end zone at the end of that game.
Not on Lamar.
No, that wasn't on Lamar. You had Zay Flowers trying to do too much and fumble in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. They are, what's weird, Jay? And let's spread this out a little bit in sports. I don't know if snake bit is the right word, but some teams are really, really good in the regular season, and in the postseason, something just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, your Braves won a World Series.
2.
Well,
But the
I'm
90s
about
Braves.
the 90s Braves.
Yes.
But, I mean, they had some kooky stuff happen.
They went to 5 and they won 1.
And then when some of the ones they lost, you just shake your head. Like the weird stuff that happened in some of those World Series.
Or like 4 one-run losses in Minnesota.
Yes.
Including 1 in extra innings.
Yeah, and again.
Or again, being up 2-0 on New York.
On New York.
And then forgetting how to play baseball.
And, all of a sudden, Leyritz hits the home run, changes the whole series. Just, it's weird.
And not only
stuff.
that, but they won the first 2 games at
in
Yankee
New York.
Stadium.
Yes.
Andrew Jones hit a home run. He was 19 years old.
Remember that? It was
Yes.
crazy.
Oh,
so but my point is,
I assure you I do.
For some
I assure
reason,
you.
there's some franchises you go, well, eventually, and the Braves did win a World Series, so I'm not saying they didn't.
They did.
The Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls, and remember, they lost that one that was tight.
Yeah.
And after that, just got their doors blown off in 3 straight.
They got progressively worse. And
Yeah,
then people
so-
were like, oh, the Bills suck. I'm like,
So,
they really don't.
No, you
They're actually quite good.
you know what I want to say? Name me the other team with the 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Can we give
nobody
you that
went to
list?
4 straight. I mean,
Right.
Minnesota's 0-4, but they didn't go to 4
Didn't go to 4 straight. No, and that's the point. Buffalo went to 4 straight. And you can talk about the AFC all you want. You still got to get there.
Yeah.
And so people forget that's a hell of an accomplishment, but they remember this 0.
Right. And I get it, but when people say, oh, they suck, I'm like,
No,
no,
not really.
No, man.
No,
That's
not
that's
at
not
all.
how that works.
And like going back to the Ravens really quick, there's no guarantee that the snake bittiness is going to stop.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't. But it's been a team that's won a ton of regular season games. Lamar just can't get over the hump, but Jalen Hurts has got over the hump. 2 Super Bowls the last 3 years. He outplayed Holmes, I'm sorry. He outplayed Mahomes in both those Super Bowls. So when you're going to automatically push Jalen Hurts aside, that's fine, depending on someone's criteria. But Jalen Hurts is building himself a nice resume.
I will admit to you that I do not yet know how I'm going to go with this because I didn't randomly choose. I will admit I tried to look at some postseason success, but I wanted to kind of throw Lamar in with where Lamar is in his career right now. I wasn't going to put Aaron Rodgers on this list. I thought about Burrow, and I thought about Allen, and I just kind of settled in on these guys, and maybe because Burrow's been, Allen hasn't. Again, Jalen and Patrick have won. Lamar hasn't been there, but he's got his 2 MVPs. So I sometimes I don't always know how I'm going to settle on these choices, but
It's tough.
But these, and I think these are. Let's see. I think Mahomes is rated 3rd or 4th. I think Lamar is the highest rated of these 3. I think Lamar is maybe 3rd. Mahomes 4th, and Hurts was 8th going into the season from last year in terms of QBR.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I tell you what, though, again, what do you value?
Right.
Someone says, well, I value postseason success, and you might put Jalen Hurts ahead of Lamar. If you say, well, nobody's a playmaker like Lamar, he's my starter. Okay, I get that. What Lamar did last year was historic, if you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
But then Mahomes, let's be honest. I mean, look at the first, 7-8 years of that career.
Well, and I'm wondering if Mahomes, and this is getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but is Mahomes poised for a Brady-like career in the sense that it'll be divided into 2 parts?
It could be. Thinking about all the stuff we're talking about today, like picking, predicting, and everything, I'm wondering, when you look at the Chiefs, there's been some erosion on offense since Tyreek Hill was traded.
And this year, you're going to lose. I mean, I don't care how people today think of Kelsey. I think, unfortunately for him, there's going to be people that begin to go, Taylor Swift, instead of realizing that he's maybe one of the top 10 tight ends to ever play the game.
He might be one of the top 5.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, but he's getting to the end of his career.
This is it. So and that's my point, is this is going to be, starting in a year, not to get ahead of our lives, but Mahomes, it's going to be different for Andy and Patrick in terms of how they build that offense.
And that's my feeling when I'm looking at Mahomes now is, are we going into that? And a lull for him is just he's a hell of a quarterback, right?
Yeah, I think we could.
But we could be going into a lull as the personnel around him change.
I guess this means that the Raiders are going to have to win the division because didn't the Jets win a couple of divisions?
They got back-to-back AFC championship games. The Jets. Remember that Bart Scott?
Yeah.
He couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Oh, boy. Anyway, all right. More on the Gamecocks on the other side. But to hit us up, start bench drop today, again, in alphabetical order. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes as the NFL season begins tonight. Lulu Kesson on the other side. The latest on the Gamecocks ahead of SC State. It's the postgame show. Integrated Media ready to help you watch football better than ever. Listen, no experience can match being in the ballpark. Everybody knows that, but you can't always be at the ballpark, or sometimes your team is on the road. How you watching when you're not there? Integrated Media is ready to help you install, build, and enjoy the finest in home theater technology, no matter what you want, all right? Maybe you just need a new TV in the setup you already have. They can come do that for you. Maybe you're moving and you just want them to make sure that everything is good to go when you get to your new place. They can do it. Maybe you're building from the ground up or remodeling. Let them work with your contractor. Maybe you'd like to have an outdoor setup. They can get that done for you, too, with amazing equipment that is built to be outside all year long. No matter how you watch, what you watch, or where you watch it, Integrated Media will make it better. Trust me on this. 803-948-8327, the best in home theater and home technology. My friends at Integrated Media.
Yeah, he did a good job reading the play. You know, it was it's kind of like a lot of pass plays in the game. You kind of have certain plays where you're trying to look one way, and if they give you the deep ball, and you throw it. There's other times when we were trying to throw the ball deep, and they were really, really soft. That one, Nick did a great job, and Lenoris made a great throw, and we were able to get behind the defense. But we were fortunate on that play.
Mike Shula on the big bomb from Lenoris Sellers to Nick Harbor, which, as we mentioned earlier in the week, not only was it needed in the moment inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but needed for the program, needed for the confidence building. We'll get into that and more with our good friend Lulu Kesson. She is on the beat covering the Gamecocks for the Greenville News. She was on site the other day. She joins us now. Always good to have you. How big a deal do not only you believe that play was, and again, bigger picture, Lulu, but how was it in person?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. Always great to be on and talking with you guys. That was a big play. Something that I've noticed from a lot of Nick Harbor interviews and conversations is that trust is a word he frequently uses, and talks a lot about how grateful he is that his teammates trust him. And it sort of makes you wonder what was necessarily, happening behind the scenes last year, if that was just simply he was dropping a lot of passes and that hurt the trust that, he received from the team. But I think having that type of play, especially after dropping a pretty wide open pass early on, spoke volumes for his maturity. And as he said after, last year I would have pouted, but this year I came off smiling. So that was a cool play to see, obviously, just from a football standpoint, but I think it really spoke to the growth that Nick is already having from last year to this year.
And Lulu, to your point, he drops that ball early, but Lenoris keeps going back to him and keeps targeting him, which shows if you're Nick, your quarterback's got confidence in you, and also your coordinator and the coaching staff has confidence you'll bounce back.
Absolutely. And that's sort of the two things you need most. Those are game changers. Those are, people in your head. That's a belief that you have to have. And it's impossible to sort of have that next play mentality if you don't feel like you'll have that initial trust moving forward. And I credit kind of the culture and Beamer's coaching staff in general. It does seem like they really vocally trust that their players will move on from mistakes and focus on the next thing.
I know you're on the beat, so I'm going to ask you an opinion question, but it's an opinion based on what you've been covering this week from game one into game two, and it's simple. We'll see how you answer it. But what do you believe in seeing players, head coach, coordinators? What do you believe still concerns them the most about where they are?
That's a good question. I definitely don't think that players and coaching staff are as concerned about the offensive line as the fan base and some of us reporters are. I think that week ones are hard. My biggest takeaway, and maybe something I wouldn't say necessarily people are concerned about from the staff standpoint, but like sort of the lack of, Jared Brown really didn't do much. Mazio Bennett had one target. Michael Smith didn't really play either. Like, those are three key players on offense that were expected to sort of lead. And so that is where my question is, okay, was that a week one thing? Was that specific to Virginia Tech, or is that going to linger? And I think concerns might grow there if three of their best, two of their best receivers and one of their best tight ends aren't really a factor.
Lulu, if, let's say, Shed Surratt is healthy last weekend, does he start at guard instead of Rodney Newsome in your mind?
Yes, he does. And that's, I do believe that he starts. Do I think it would be a night and day difference? I can't say that, but I think that starting spot would have been his had he been healthy enough.
And do we know, or do we wait for tonight's coaches show to find out more about what some of those situations are for this week?
Yeah, it's leaning towards the latter. I think that, Shane, he said that Judge and JT Gear are doubtful. I think the biggest thing is that Judge Collier's injury isn't long-term. Beamer loves the short-term versus long-term terminology. It's kind of hard to get specifics beyond that, but Judge hurt his knee pretty bad previously, so when there's a knee injury there's always concern. But the fact that it's what seems to be a mild-ish sprain and nothing crazy, and the fact that he's even doubtful whether that's coach speak or not, it is pretty big. But in terms of what's going to happen with Shed, have not heard yet. Waiting to hear tonight, the same time as you.
Talking to Lulu Keston of the Greenville News. Again, Gamecocks and SC State Bulldogs Saturday at 7. We know what these games are about when you're playing an FCS school. So I'm curious, again, kind of your opinion on what you've gathered around the ball club this week as to how many, and maybe even to your point about wide receivers and the usage, because I'm with you on that. That was one of my big things on Monday was we didn't see a lot of guys, at least guys that we thought. So I'm curious as to maybe what you're interpreting and gathering about we know who's going to start. How long are they in? Is there a feeling that maybe some of the ones are in this game just a little bit longer, if only to build more confidence and cohesion?
Yeah, I think that would be the case, and at least that's how I look at it, and that's sort of what I'm looking for. I think the first quarter is going to be really important, and, I understand SC State's a good team. Anything can happen. I'm not writing them off just like that, but we all know sort of the difference in, I guess, intensity of this game, and I think the first quarter is going to matter a lot. It's sort of how much Beamer wants to see those ones get comfortable before. Like, Vandy's a really difficult SEC opener, and I'm not saying Vandy's the best team in the conference, but obviously it's going to be a difference in what they're seeing from week 2 to week 3. So it's how much are you willing to give your stars and starters time to continue to gel before that. And then also, how do you balance, okay, if Mazio goes down week 3, which freshman besides Donovan Murph can step up? There's a little bit of Jaden Sellers there, didn't really do much. So there are questions I have in terms of the wide receiver core especially. And I think that this weekend it's going to have to be an instance where, okay, let's see how much we can get out of it before, we can say, okay, third strings, go ahead in.
All right, Lulu, so the defense had a big question mark on Sunday going in. They answered a lot of questions coming out, a really good performance for the most part. Out of all your questions that you might have had for the defense, which one got answered the best?
That's a good question. I think probably linebackers. I thought really highly of, a Demetrius Knight, a Debo Williams, and I was impressed with what I saw. With Fred J.R. Johnson, you never know when someone is talked about that much in the off season, but he's really exciting. As Clayton said, he had some really great flash plays. I think that he's somebody that's obviously going to be really great. That's probably the biggest thing that going into it, I wouldn't necessarily say concerned, but, didn't know what to expect. And I felt like I got some pretty solid observations and answers in that regard.
But is he the best Fred since Flintstone?
That's funny.
She didn't watch. She's young. She didn't watch the Flintstones.
She watched the Flintstones. Give her more credit.
I do know the Flintstones. I had the Flintstones vitamins.
Yeah, you say vitamins.
Right.
Yeah.
See, Lulu knows what's up.
My kids took Flintstone vitamins. They're like, Dad, was this a show?
What the hell's a Flintstone?
It's like, it was a great show. I just can't find it anymore.
Yeah,
all right, what? We'll leave it there because we could talk about Flintstone vitamins all day.
We could go off on the Flintstones.
I'm a fan of Flintstone vitamins. They taste good too, at least relatively speaking. Lulu, thank you as always. Enjoy the ball game this weekend. We'll holler at you soon.
Appreciate it, Lulu. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You're the best.
That's Lulu Keston. Thank you. You too. LU.
Just
Lulu.
because she's younger than us, you think she doesn't know the Flintstones?
Well, she knows. I'm sure she knows, but people don't. That's the thing.
Flintstones are universal. My youngest is 18. He watched the Flintstones.
Yeah, I don't even know where do you watch the Flintstones anymore? Like I'm dead serious. There's no TBS showing the Flintstones in the afternoon when you get home from school, man.
You know what? I wonder if is a TV Land or anybody doing it?
No.
Because my son, I won't lie, my girlfriend found, you ready for this?
Yeah.
DVDs of the Flintstones at some place.
That's what we had. Listen, I had to make sure that my girls watched Scooby-Doo. So I went when my two oldest were little. My wife and I went and bought 6 Scooby-Doo DVDs because we weren't sure if we were going to.
Don't you think?
And they love them now. It's great.
Don't you think to move this society forward the correct way, every small child has to watch Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
You with me on this?
I'm totally, absolutely.
That could be that could be.
You want to start a petition?
I think you and I need to start something.
Or just somebody tell me. I don't even where can I watch?
You know, I got to look this up during the break
Flintstones.
now. I'm gonna see if there's any place. We got to look this up now.
And if somebody tells me that I've had it all along and don't know it, I could probably get mad at myself. All right, again, that's Lulu Kessin, LuluKessin, Lulu Kessin on Twitter, GreenvilleNews.com. Terry opens the vault after this. Excuse me, 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. All choked up. Probably had too many Flintstone vitamins. Got some of that chalky stuff in the back of my throat there. Welcome back in. Jay
By
and
the
Terry
way,
with you here.
Flintstones are on Boomerang,
Boomerang.
the TV channel Boomerang.
I know Boomerang.
And you can also.
Do I have YouTube TV? Do I have Boomerang?
I don't know. I don't have YouTube TV.
I
don't
should
know.
look that up.
It's also one like you can find on Hulu and Tubi and some of these other channels as well. The Flintstones.
The Flintstones are on Hulu?
That's what it said according to.
I didn't know that.
My friend on Google AI told me that.
I do have Hulu. I like Hulu.
You can probably search Flintstones and find some Flintstones.
You know what
on
I
Hulu.
want, though? I mean, I love the Flintstones. I love the Jetsons as well.
Oh, who doesn't like the Jetsons?
But I tell you what I want to watch more of is Johnny Quest. Where do I get Johnny Quest? Do they have that? I don't know.
I got to look that up. Johnny Quest was, you know what? I didn't appreciate Johnny Quest when I was younger. I like it better as I got older. Did you ever see, it was on Cartoon Network, the takeoff of Johnny Quest? It was a satire of Johnny Quest. It was hilarious. I can't think of the name of it right now. My oldest.
That wasn't Johnny Bravo, was it?
No, Johnny Bravo's phenomenal. Johnny Bravo might be the most underrated, hilarious cartoon ever, was Johnny Bravo. You know who did the voice of Johnny Bravo, right?
Who?
Greg Brady.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Barry Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Interviewed him once when I did a morning show.
I interviewed Barry Williams a couple times, too. He was a good interview.
He was great, man.
Great interview. Barry Williams is good, man. I like it. Johnny Bravo. I appreciate it more over the years with Johnny Bravo.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense because Johnny Bravo was that character on the Brady Bunch at one time. Right? So is that why they had him?
Johnny
do it?
Bravo's so good. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo. If anyone's never seen any Johnny Bravo, it's hilarious. Hilarious.
According to this,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Quest is on Tubi.
Yeah,
I know
Tubi seems to have a lot of this stuff.
I know what Tubi is. Amazon Video, is that the same as Amazon Prime? Because I have Prime.
I have Amazon Prime, too.
Apple TV. I have the Apple TV Plus. All right. Maybe I should just stop watching sports and search for more of these things.
More
right?
cartoons.
Yeah.
Did you look at Jetsons?
No, but I will. I mean, I imagine the Jetsons are the same place that the Flintstones are.
Yeah,
right?
be the same place the Flintstones. Sure.
Somebody's hitting us on Twitter here. Hang on. Let me give him credit. John is listening. John, thank you. John says there's a channel called My TV.
Oh, yeah.
That shows it. Local channel. He says here he's listening in Charleston. Thank you, John. Channel 13 down that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of My TV.
My TV,
They got like
cable.
they got like old shows.
A lot of old shows.
Yeah.
My TV's cool.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right.
Thank you, John. And thanks for listening in Charleston, man.
Yeah, thank you. Jetsons streaming. I'm looking that up now. May as well tell you all what I'm doing on the internet. Do you want to go ahead and open the vault while I'm looking for more of these?
This
Speaking,
day,
are we not opening the vault on our own by doing this?
Historic.
Yeah.
Very cool day in baseball history. This no-hitter happened.
And the ground ball to short. Velarde. He did it. He did it. No hitter for Jim Abbott.
1993,
Jim
man.
Abbott throws a no hitter and shuts out the Cleveland Indians 4-0.
It was remarkable.
Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, one of the great stories in sports history, not just the no hitter, but just that he even could pitch at all. Many of you probably do remember it. If you don't, Jim Abbott was born with one hand, but was a phenomenal pitcher. Pitched at Michigan. I think they went to the World Series.
I think they did too. I think you're right. I think you're right. They got the College World Series.
I think so. I'll double check.
Double check that. Something tells me you're
They
right.
didn't win, but I think I want to say his Michigan team went to the College World Series, but nevertheless made it to the bigs and was solid for a few years, man.
Started his career with the Angels.
Yeah.
And then bounced around a little bit. That the no hitters with the Yankees. He threw it with the Yankees.
Right.
But I mean, look, pitching and having to navigate the way he had to navigate to get to the majors in general.
Well, yeah.
And then to have a solid career for a period of years.
Yeah.
I mean, that story is it's such a phenomenal story. Jim Abbott, how he had to field, transfer to throw, all that stuff.
and taught himself to do it and did it. And I mean, again, you made the bigs.
Yeah.
The bigs. Look, if there's a story somewhere like, a call up for some guy like late or something, like, sure. This is a dude who made it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a pitcher in the major leagues.
Yep, and he was there for a decent period of time.
Yeah.
It's a great story. And this day, 1993, threw that no-hitter.
Yeah, Michigan went to the World Series in 83 and 84.
Oh, twice?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go.
There's your vault, my man.
And didn't go again until 2019.
Yeah, and you know who the coach of that
Bakich.
team?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Eric Bakich.
where's he at now?
I don't know. Yeah. Hour 2 coming up. Griffin Pools and Spas is ready to keep you happy all year long. But listen, you can't swim all year, but you know what you can do? You can enjoy a hot tub all year. If you have a heated pool, you can, and then Griffin can do that for you too. But what about a brand new Bullfrog Spa? All right, this is something you can set up. You can go see these at the showroom at Griffin Pools and Spas, just steps away from the Lake Murray Dam in Lexington, on the Lexington side. These Bullfrog Spas have individual seats for different massage for everybody that's enjoying it. All right. Or you could just set them up different, move around if you want to. They don't care. Whatever makes you happy. If you already have a pool, you need to get things cleaned up. Maybe you're ahead of shutting things down for a little bit. See Griffin Pools and Spas for all of that, too. Again, steps away from the Lake Murray Dam, and you can always learn more about what this family-owned company can do for you and all of your outdoor fun at griffinpoolsandspas.com. 4 o'clock on this Thursday. Welcome back in. Second hour of the post-game show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios in downtown Columbia, South Carolina, along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Full disclosure, I only pulled the pin back twice on the Avengers pinball machine today.
Only twice?
Well, I got here a little bit later, and then I had to immediately go down the hall and do some commercial recording with our amazing production director, Chris Logan.
Didn't he understand he was taken away from pinball time?
He did.
Did you explain that to him?
I did, and I asked him if he had played, and he chuckled, which lets me know the truth about how hard Chris works. Chris has a lot to do, and he has his own production room back there, and you have to knock very politely and try to get some things done, and I try not to bother Chris.
Well,
so hopefully he will have had a chance to play at some point.
I'll tell you a funny one with him really quick. There was a person that used to work here who would just open his door and walk in. And I think you know who I'm talking about. I know you're stunned by that. I won't name names. So what Chris started to do was lock it.
Locks the door.
That's why if you ever go to open it, it's locked.
That's why I knock very quietly.
He still has PTSD from that, by the way, of the constant walk-ins.
If the on-air light is on, then you just turn around. I try to honor the on-air light.
Absolutely.
Not everybody does.
But yeah, Chris for a while there had it locked, bolted, had a chair up against it, got a guard dog, just to keep someone from just barging on in there.
Sure. But anyway, so I haven't played much today.
I didn't have a chance to mess with it today.
And I see that everybody is clearly winning the claw machine that we have.
Starting to get low.
If you missed it yesterday, we've taken delivery of a brand new Avengers pinball machine. It's nice, man.
It's cool.
Full size. It's the real deal.
It's real.
And then one of these little claw. It's not one of the big giant claw machines. This one's more the miniature kind.
Right.
But clearly, it's very easy.
I was 2 for 2 yesterday.
Well, because there's only like 3 of these little floaty ducks left in it.
And it's perfect. The claw thing is perfect on the
But they're
floaty
all in the
duck.
place where you get your prizes. Like nobody wants them. They just want to like the satisfaction of getting the thing.
I wanted to put it back in yesterday.
Yeah, we got to find. We need real stuff in there.
Right.
We need stuff.
Like stuff like, things. What I'm thinking about doing is just going through people's desks when they're at lunch and just stealing stuff and putting it in.
Well, you know what I want to do? It's like those gags from the old days. You glue a quarter down on the ground. I want to get like a plastic thing that you like with a little cap and put like a 20 in it or a 50 in it or something like that. But then glue it down to the bottom.
It's actually
and have everybody go in there like with all the stuff around it. Go, I'm trying to get that 50, and then like they get the thing around it, and then it won't, and then the claw always comes up. And you're like, oh,
Well, it was even better if you
if
you could pick it up just enough.
Next time,
Wouldn't it be great?
Maybe
Just
get
enough.
some bubble gum on the bottom of it,
And then it pulls it back down.
or that clear. We'll get like the clear glue. Something like that. There's glue strips.
Because people will go right for the Hyundai.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Is
this going out over the air?
No, between you and me.
All right.
We're going to break, I promise.
Start bench drop today before we get back into some more Gamecock stuff for you because it is the opener tonight for the National Football League. That's pro football.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you that don't worry about that as much as you do college. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Those are your choices today, 3 of your better NFL quarterbacks. Are any one of those right now, in your opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL?
The 3 you mean you picked?
Yeah. Do you think if somebody said Terry Ford, is one of those one of those 3 the best quarterback in the NFL?
I'll say
as
this.
we speak.
A lot of people are leaning toward Burrow right now because he was so good last year,
Yes.
but because that defense was so atrocious, Cincinnati didn't make the playoffs.
Which is just
I'm going to say this. I know
criminal.
I would say, look, Patrick Mahomes, I still think is the best thrower of the football in the league.
Mm.
I think defenses have gone through great lengths to take the deep ball away from Mahomes. Defenses have done a lot of things to try to defend him in general. And I think his effectiveness has been limited last couple years.
That's fair.
But I still think...
Altered, maybe?
Yes, I think... Well, because to Mahomes' credit, Jay... once teams said, you know what we're going to do, Patrick? We ain't going to let you beat us deep anymore. You got dink and dunk us. Mahomes said, okay, I'll dink and dunk you. I'm not going to force it downfield.
Yeah.
So I think that Mahomes has adjusted, and it's hurt his effectiveness as a quarterback. But I still think he's the best thrower of the football.
Yeah.
I think if you went back to playing him like you did in his first couple years in the league,
right.
I think you'd see Patrick Mahomes' numbers go up.
And that's why I asked. I wonder, too, about him. I agree with you. If you ask me, I probably would have a slight lean to Joe Burrow. Yeah.
Now, to be fair here, and you make a valid point.
But it's like 1A, 1B.
Let me throw this at you. Give Patrick Mahomes, Jamar Chase, and that wide receiver core in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And put that wide receiver core in Kansas City.
Yeah. And look, I love what Burrow's doing.
Oh, I love Burrow.
But Mahomes, to your point, and that's one of the things that I just think I marvel at with Patrick Mahomes, is dude can make throws that he hasn't had to make yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when you challenge him to make that throw, he makes it. And somebody this year will probably try to defend him in a certain way, say, oh, let's see if he can make this throw. Well, he's going to.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, to be fair, because the way teams, a lot, and we won't get too football-y and dorky, but you've heard how the league has changed playing single high safety on defense to stop the big plays.
Right.
Well, that started with Mahomes because Kansas City, Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes were lethal. So teams started saying, okay, Mahomes, we think you're impatient. We're going to make you beat us 10, 12, 15 plays down the field. Well, Mahomes adjusted, and he started dinking and dunking, taking what the defense gave him. And Andy Reid, because even though Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame offensive mind, Andy Reid, that team has changed its makeup.
Yeah.
That team,
he's been willing to adjust.
And you know what that team has done a lot more now? It's become more of a defensive football team to where they're not explosive on offense like they used to be, but they're really good on defense. Special teams also chips in. They're a more rounded football team.
And again, in a good way, they utilize a generational tight end.
Right. And because they have to right now, because let's be fair, the wide receiver core has been pretty underwhelming the last couple of years, ever since Tyreek Hill left. They've tried to plug some people in there, but either it's been injury, suspension, guy just didn't work out, whatever. Their wide receivers, remember, was it 2 years ago when they did win the Super Bowl? They led the league in drops in the regular season. So to go back to your question, I still think Mahomes is the best thrower of the football. I mean, don't get me wrong. If someone wants to say Burrow, I'm not going to hey, let's go outside and fight about it.
Right.
Because Burrow's that good.
I think he is too.
Here's the marvel about Burrow. He doesn't have that cannon like Mahomes does.
Right.
Mahomes got a rocket launcher, dude.
Yeah.
Burrow's just got an NFL arm, but Burrow is so good in anticipation, accuracy, throwing guys open. Burrow has just got. It's so intuitive with Burrow.
And he knows. He's very confident, and he knows he can make every throw.
And trust me, that's so big with him.
Absolutely.
I watch a little. They were showing a little thing about when he was at LSU.
Yeah.
And when they won the whole thing, and he's sitting there after it's over with the cigar and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in this world that believes in Joe Burrow as much as Joe Burrow believes in Joe Burrow.
But the way
that's
he
a good
does
thing.
it, he reminds me. I'm serious. I'm not going to apples to apples because it's a different sport, but he's kind of like Chipper Jones. In a way, like Chipper, hey, Chipper, are you better than me? I never met you, but yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
The thing with Burrow that's so interesting, too, remember the year before he popped at LSU, he was good, but he wasn't Joe Burrow yet.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Joe Burrow popped up, and everybody said, well, he's got all these great receivers. I get it, but then he went to Cincinnati, and, they had T. Higgins, and they had a couple of pieces, but they didn't have Chase at that point. Remember, Jamar Chase showed up later.
Right.
Burrow just something clicked, man. Something clicked.
Yeah, he elevated them. He elevated himself. I think he grew into that confidence because at Ohio State, it's not really about the quarterbacks. Even if you have a good one, they don't even know when they do have good ones.
Yeah, they got so many of them there. Joe Burrow left. I guarantee they didn't know for 6 months.
No.
Oh, Burrow's not here anymore?
Right.
It is Burrow, right?
Right. Yeah, where's John Barry?
Right. They didn't know who he was. So I always think about that with Burrow is I'd love to have that interview and go, okay, what clicked with you? When did this happen? Because again, you were fine that year, but his first year as a starter at LSU, he was solid, but he wasn't the guy you became.
Right.
Right? And that's what we always say, too. They don't use this word called patience anymore. Here's a guy that he wasn't Joe Burrow right away. He became Joe Burrow. And probably a good amount of that was God. He got to play and learn and develop and grow. And then all of a sudden, guess what you had?
Man,
you know,
what a luxury to be able to develop as a player.
I gotta stop using that word.
So, well,
I can't use that word 3 to 6.
Because it matters.
I gotta stop using that word 3 to 6.
It matters, man. Yeah, it is a trigger word. There's no doubt.
Absolutely, it's a trigger word for you. You flinch. You like going to a convulsion when I say the word develop.
Because I don't have to worry about it in any other sport except, American professional football, which is just weird to me. Start, bench, drop, though. That's how we're getting onto this topic ahead of the NFL opener tonight. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. A lot of you weighing in. Steven says start Mahomes, bench Hurts, drop Lamar. And now we got a couple of celebrities here. Actually, 3 straight or 3 in a row here. Pops Frisbee says, as of this moment, because I did ask, part of this was rate them however you see fit. Going into this season, how they played last season, career resume,
right.
Your call. Your call. Even if you want to throw Lamar's Heisman in there, doesn't matter to me. But Pops says, as of this moment, start Mahomes, bench Hurts, drop Jackson. The simple fact, he says, Mahomes and Hurts have won, and Jackson has not.
And that's what he said in the opening riff of the show. It's like if you want to gauge this by rings, how you played the postseason.
However you see fit. But he says, I'll take consistent excellence over potential every day.
Because, that's the kooky thing with Lamar Jackson. Last year, honestly, that was a historic season for a
Lamar's had some consistent. Look, Lamar has 2 NFL MVP.
And to be honest with you, last year, he was better than the 2 years he won MVP.
Yeah, so...
what he did last year was filthy.
Yeah.
If you want to take a step back and look at those numbers.
Yeah, no,
to Pop's point.
Right. Hadn't done it in the playoffs.
Lamar in the postseason is not Lamar in the regular season, and that team hasn't been the same. So
our buddy Lou Bezjak says, start Aaron Rodgers, bench Aaron Rodgers. No, he doesn't really. He doesn't. He doesn't. But I know Lou's I've known Lou a long time. Big Steelers fan.
That's funny.
He starts Mahomes, bench Hurts, drop Lamar. And our buddy Joe Pollock.
Oh, buddy Joe.
Joe. Now I think Joe has some ties to
Joe's a Ravens guy.
the Baltimore area.
Joe and I are suffer together.
Joe says start Johnny U. No. Start
bench Burt Jones.
He does. Yes. That's right. No, he starts Lamar, bench Mahomes, cut Jalen Hurts.
Now again, if you want to look at right now, no quarterback can affect the game like Lamar. Because Lamar can throw it now, thanks to Todd Monken and that staff. Lamar is an excellent thrower of the football, and plus Lamar takes off and does things with his legs that nobody else in the history of the game has done to this level. So you want to talk about a guy that put it this way, if you ask defensive coordinators, one of those anonymous surveys, it wouldn't surprise me if they were the most scared. If you say what quarterback scares you the most on a game-to-game basis, probably be Lamar.
I think so.
Because of what he can do to you running and throwing. But again, going back to like Pops and the other folks that have been hitting us up, regular season Lamar is a different cat than postseason Lamar. Yeah, so far.
And that's typically because I think, again, when you get into the playoffs, you are playing a team with a better defense. Just strictly, it's just like baseball. When you get in, this dude was a whatever hitter. All right, well, then when you get into the playoffs, man, you're playing a good rotation and a good bullpen.
Yeah.
And your numbers are going to come down.
And I think Lamar's just, honestly, because he wants to win so bad, tries to do too much.
Yeah.
And you fall right into the traps of these good defenses when you try to do too much.
It'd be great if Lamar had, he's got a good running back now with him, obviously, but like one of those receivers, and I don't know that he's
Chase, a Jefferson, one of
just
those
somebody
guys.
that really, again,
they've
6 or 8 times during the year, not certainly during the game, but there's just again those plays somewhere that make a difference.
I hear you. That's a good point.
But hit us up, start, bench, drop, Hurts, Jackson, Mahomes ahead of the opener. We'll make our Super Bowl picks later on. Back to some Gamecock football for you on the other side. It's the postgame show. Welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on here on a Thursday afternoon. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. 803-404-6100 to be a part of the program on the AAA phone lines, Firehouse Subs text line. Start bench drop, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Back into that in just a little bit. Mike Shula, Clayton White speaking ahead of Saturday's ball game. Carolina hosting SC State. And a lot of things to get to here from Coach White. We'll start with a little bit of defense. Let's go to number 16, Terry Ford. How does Clayton feel about how his linebackers can cover the field?
16.
That's correct.
You want 16? Okay, this is interesting. Give me a second here. I'm looking at something. Okay. I hope this is right. It's not marked the way you say, but hey, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. Cut 16. Why not?
I was just at home, just resting, and then
That's not Clayton White.
No.
That's Faison. I'm going to see if I can find it in other. So some of the numbers aren't matching. Give me a second.
Oh.
Start talking about the Flintstones.
Do you have no, that's not yesterday's. But I don't want to talk about the Flintstones anymore. But, I do actually. I do want to talk about the Flintstones, but I'm not going to. I did learn something real quick though. I guess mildly misspoke, not about Michigan baseball. We were talking about Jim Abbott because he was part of the vault today. Jim Abbott just missed those playoff teams or those World Series teams at Michigan.
When do you leave Michigan?
He got to Michigan in '85.
Oh, okay.
So while Michigan did, I knew that Michigan had gone because Carolina was going to the World Series back then. That's when I became a big fan of the College World Series. They went 83, 84, but he got there in 85.
So he just missed
So he did not go to the College
So he's the
World
reason they didn't go back in 85.
Well, he was Big Ten Pitcher of the Year,
he was
man.
really good, man, in college.
He was pretty good.
When I first read about Abbott was in college.
Yeah.
I got a great idea. Why don't we hear Clayton White talk about the 3-3-5?
Okay, let's do that.
It's a little bit of both. So right now we still have that in our little bag that we have, where we work it every now and again to make sure that we're solid on it and strong on it, and we use it at the end of games. But it's one of those things where it depends on how the game is going, and obviously the offense that we're facing. They'll let us know which plan to use.
I think we've seen Clayton through the years, with Shane's urging, adjust accordingly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of their big tenets is that's why they want to, for lack of a better term, might not be the best term, but cross-train so many players at so many positions on defense especially, so that they can adjust, maybe not literally from snap to snap, but rather quickly and do so comfortably, so that there's not that there's just okay, now we'll go do this. It's rather seamless most of the time.
And isn't it interesting? Whenever I see 3-3-5, I'll never forget a couple years ago when that defense was scuffling, and then they switched it up in November, and I'm sure again Shane had a little talk. Yeah, Clayton had said, "Okay, man, what we're doing ain't working. I love you to death. We got to do something else." And Clayton adjusted, and they went to that 3-3-5. And started getting a ton of heat on the quarterbacks. That's when Bam Martin, Scott, and Willis popped. Remember, started getting some heat. And from that point on, this defense has been excellent.
It's been great.
Excellent.
Yeah. And was it better than expected on Sunday? Depends on one's point of view. I keep coming back to the fact that they didn't give up a touchdown. I know you had a pick in the end zone, but you know what? You had a pick in the end zone. They didn't score a touchdown.
You got 2 interceptions. They didn't get in the end zone. You got a lot of Drones was pressured on 44, almost 45% of his dropbacks.
He was not good.
No, and under pressure.
I'm not saying he isn't good, but on Sunday he was not good.
Yeah, what was he?
15 of 35.
And 3 of 15 versus pressure.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. That defense played better than I thought it was going to play.
I expected him to play a good game. I think they played an even better game.
The thing that impressed me the most, 2 things. First, the interior of the defensive line. Those 3 guys rotated in there really well and held their own. And those linebackers, man, they're fast.
Yeah.
They're very fast. And I like being able to talk about a really good player named Fred.
Is that where you want to go next? Do you know which ones are working here?
I'll give you another one that I know of here because we got some stuff here named that doesn't match. I don't know why. How about this one? Let's go to, let's talk Brandon Cisse.
Okay.
Let's talk about Brandon Cisse.
I'm in your hands,
Here is
man.
Clayton talking about Brandon Cisse and snaps at the nickel position.
It's one of those things. We feel like he has he gives us value there. Also, it gives us opportunity to give Kilgore. He played 800 snaps last year. Him and DQ Smith played 790 and 794, something like that. It was crazy. So we know it's a long season. So we kind of have that plan ahead and trying to make sure that we have our guys for the long road that's ahead of us.
Listen, I like that addition. I know he got beat once and was not happy about it. And beyond that, a really good game. Sometimes you're going to get beat. It's sports. It happens. I think they've got some depth back. I don't know if there are as many. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not lingering questions, but like burning questions, I think is what I'm going for on defense. We can always look for them. I thought linebacker play was really good the other day. And that was my biggest concern on defense going into the season. And I know I wasn't alone in that one. So, I thought the interior play, those guys at the back. Now, listen, here's one. Can you get to one? Do you have
try.
Can you get 13?
Let's see here. I actually can.
All right, 13, because Judge Collier, look, he's not going to play this weekend. How banged up, don't know, but here's Clayton on how they'll fill that void.
Yes, we always feel like here, this is the first year that we feel like we had multiple guys that we feel like it was game ready, and it's a luxury to have Miles Dorwood and Vakari Swain and other guys that we're training. We still have Jalua Solomon that we're trying to train, and obviously we have Cisse, but it's good. We have between Miles and Vakari and Jalua, we have a lot of guys that can step in and help us out right there. But it's nice to be able to have some bodies.
You've always got a depth chart. Now you feel like you've got the quality depth, and this is what we keep coming back to. Now you've got guys that can step in, and if it's not like for like, 1A, 1B, at least there's not this. You're not going from 1 to 4. You can go from 1 to 2. And I've talked to enough people around the program that genuinely, what he's saying there isn't just fill in a few seconds at a press conference. I think there's a genuine belief that now they've got guys that really compete with each other every day.
Well, and you bring in newcomers, right, Jay? And again, like Pro Football Focus isn't everything, but if you look at the grading, the top 3 guys, Brownlow Dindy, Fred Johnson, Brandon Cisse, all new starters.
Right.
And Brownlow Dindy was almost a 90 in his grade. That's how well he played on Sunday.
He was great.
I mean, I thought him and Goodwine and Barrett all did a really nice job rotating in the interior.
I would say, once again, depending on one's point of view, and there are some fans especially who are really tough graders, but I thought those guys exceeded expectation.
Yeah, I mean, they're different. They're more big guys.
If that's the right way to put it. Maybe not exceed expectation. I'll stay with that.
Yeah,
I'll stay with that.
I think it was a big question mark that for 1 week was answered a resounding yes.
Yeah,
and I think they're different guys. They might not be the pass rushers that you had last year, but they're big guys who are going to, I think, do the dirty work in the run game really well this year. And if they give you some pressure on quarterbacks, that's great too. But those 3 guys they're just different than last year. That's all. But they can be just as good,
right?
Just in a different fashion in the style of play. But I walked away from watching the thing on Sunday going, that defense, man, is fast. It's physical. They're getting after it. They got a special guy coming off the edge. If you don't pay attention to him, he's going to decapitate somebody. I came away really impressed with that defense. Just really did.
We'll have more from Coach White and Coach Shula coming up as part of the Gamecock Notebook next hour. Come back on the other side, though, and Terry and I are going to make our picks for the Super Bowl, which I did find out today because I didn't even know yesterday. It's in Santa Clara. Although it's funny, they have a big picture of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm like, that bridge is like 30 miles away, man.
Don't you love how the joke in Chicago is the entire state of Illinois is a suburb of
Chicago, right?
It's become everything in Northern California has become San Francisco.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that now? Everything.
I was like, that bridge ain't anywhere close, but it's cool. Thank you you had it on there. Yeah, I feel bad for the people in Illinois, man, because Chicago is a big city, but Illinois is a huge state, and most of it is not Chicago.
But Chicago thinks it is. That's the funniest part.
Yeah. All right. We'll make our Super Bowl picks, and y'all can chime in, too, when the postgame show returns.
Now, I'm sitting here looking at the CHW Cabinetry website, chwcabinetry.com, and you can see all the work, or a lot of the work that the folks at CHW Cabinetry have done. You can see testimonials. You can look at outdoor cabinetry. You can look at the products. Because, again, people like to put cabinets in a lot of different rooms, and CHW Cabinetry can do that for you as well. They have something fantastic, too, is the photorealistic renderings. What that does, it gives you an idea of how this is going to look step by step. Start off everything by giving the folks at CHW Cabinetry a call at 803-520-6837. Set up a meeting with Star and her crew. Tell them what you want to do, your budget, what you just see regarding these cabinets. And like I say, with the photorealistic renderings and the step-by-step process that they do, they will get you hooked up and make you happy. CHW Cabinetry. All right, time to check on the traffic. First one of the afternoon, we do have some accidents. Garners Ferry Road to Pineview Road, I-26 westbound at Airport Boulevard, I-77 northbound Garners Ferry Road, 77 southbound Faro Road, another accident, 77 southbound at Bluff Road, Two Notch Road near Sparkleberry Lane as well. Also, accidents cleared I-20 westbound at Broad River, I-26 eastbound at exit 107B.
"25 minutes in front of 5 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon. Jay and Terry with you. Appreciate you being with us. Top of the hour headlines coming up in a bit. More from the Gamecock coordinators, part of the Gamecock Notebook. Langston will be on tomorrow's show as we open the NFL season tonight. And I just looked. and I'm not even trying to say this because I'm a fan, but my Denver Broncos have the biggest favorite spread, or they're in the game with the biggest spread of the weekend. They're hosting the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that number?
8.5.
Honestly, I'll take Denver and give the points.
Yeah, 8.5.
That's a lot of points to give, but the Titans look like they'll be terrible.
There's
They're
a couple
starting a rookie.
couple of 6.5s, and I think tonight's game is the second largest at 7.5. I'm making sure of that.
You know what's interesting?
7.5 tonight.
I saw this today. The Cowboys, Dak Prescott plays well against the Eagles, and Prescott's had success against the Eagles. But that being said, I think the Eagles cover it. I think they cover the number. I think they win. I think they win and cover the number.
I would probably pick that.
Dallas has to show me that, because again, without Micah Parsons, their quarterback rating defensively versus the opposing quarterback was 30th in the NFL when Parsons wasn't on the field.
Right.
So who's going to step in and bring all that pressure on
Well, it doesn't matter
quarterbacks?
because Jerry just says they'll stop the run. So, again, Saquon will just get like 4 yards tonight, and Jarrah
So are you
Jarrah
telling
will
me
be fine.
that teams have agreed, since Micah Parsons isn't there, they will not throw the ball against Dallas, just run it because that's what
I
Jarrah
told you the
wants.
other day. I seriously, if I'm Sirianni, and then the Eagles, if I'm Jalen, I'm like, hey, Saquon, how many do you want to run for today? Like, for real?
How great would that be? Well, we're really good against the run now. We had to stop the run. We got to get better against the run.
And he wanted, again, the only person on planet Earth, we have like 8 billion people on this planet. The only person buying, and I don't even think Jerry was buying it. But when he said the other day, well, this makes us better against the run right now. Stop.
Is that an industry term?
Just
Here's
stop.
the other thing.
man.
Let me throw this at you. And I didn't bring this up until right now. So basically, Jerry's telling us the addition of one player. How many guys play defense?
No, I think
How many guys play
he's
defense?
telling us no. You know what I think he's trying to convince himself
Sure.
of? The subtraction
Right.
of
That's what
one player.
That's what I was getting ready to say. The addition of one player
Yeah, the
makes you
addition
better
by
against the
subtraction
run.
thing.
No,
Not
it's
this
the
time.
fact that you got rid of a guy you say is hurting you playing the run. But I'll say this: if you look at Micah Parsons' grades against the run, he's okay. He's not terrible. He's not, or in the words of Charles Barkley, terrible.
Right.
He's not terrible against the run. He's okay, but you don't pay him to,
No, you're not. No.
as long as he's okay against the run and he goes out there and destroys quarterbacks, that's what you care about. So if Micah Parsons was one of the worst run defenders in the league, I would go like this. I wouldn't trade him, but I get what you're saying, but he's not.
No.
Jerry's playing this narrative like Micah Parsons is looking at the defense and saying, hey, dudes, you guys can tackle all the running backs. I'll just hit the quarterback.
Yeah.
We got a deal?
Yeah.
I mean, which is not really true.
Yeah.
But when does Jerry ever stretch the truth to Jerry's narrative?
I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to watch the game after halftime.
Good luck with that, by the way. Hey, in the words of Jay Phillips, pulling for you.
Thank you. Yes, I could use it. And that's a reference to the fact that Mrs. Phillips is a lifelong Cowboys fan. And she's already unhappy, and they haven't even had a snap.
Well, did you? Tyler told me about this earlier. This I guess a post came out. They think it's the athletic confidence level of fan bases for their teams.
Yeah.
One of the 5 lowest is the Cowboys.
Well, that makes sense.
Would you? I don't blame a Cowboy fan.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Here's mine. Ready? Why you have no confidence? Jerry Jones is still the owner.
Yeah. Well,
And the GM, and the head coach,
Yeah.
and the head scout.
Yeah.
Do you think Brian Schottenheimer is really the head coach of that football team? No. Please, come on.
The last real head coach with authority and power was Jimmy Johnson.
No, I think Parcells.
I was going to say, I know you're going to say that you think Parcells had it, but he didn't.
Not as much as Jimmy. Jimmy had total authority pretty
Absolutely.
much. Parcells.
That was was Parcells' grocery thing when he was Patriots or Cowboys?
That was Patriots. No, the thing with Parcells was done there when Jerry went out and got Terrell Owens. Remember, Parcells wouldn't say Owens' name.
Right.
He called him the player. And Parcells didn't want him. He didn't want that distraction. So, to the point, Parcells probably had the most power since Jimmy, but no one's had authority since Jimmy.
And I don't. Again, I know. I figured you would push back and say Parcells, and
As a
I
coach,
get it.
No, Jerry didn't walk in and coach the team, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Parcells would have punched him in the face.
Yeah.
But to have total authority, the last person was Jimmy.
Only there's only been one.
But they weren't that successful with Jimmy, were they?
Nope.
They didn't win that much, right?
Nope.
I can see why
I would have done it. I would have fired him
I can
too.
see why
man.
Jerry ran him off.
Yeah, I'd have said get out.
Hey, you and those 2 Super Bowl rings, get the bleep out of here, pal.
All right, start bench drop. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Get back into some of those. Got a few more of you that have hit us. Sit tight. We'll get to those. But Terry and I are going to make our Super Bowl picks.
Mm-hmm.
And, listen, sometimes you can go out on a limb.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, I picked a repeat, and that didn't happen. I forget which one it was.
Kansas City and I remember this. Who was it? Kansas City. Which year was that?
Must have
Was it
been
their first year together?
maybe. And the Eagles?
Yeah, I think you might
No,
have
that wasn't
missed.
that one.
No,
I
because that was
didn't
last
pick
year.
that as a repeat.
What was the repeat? You did pick
Niners.
Kansas City. Yes.
Niners.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. Niners.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I did pick that one. And I didn't get that one right
Yeah.
because I think the Eagles actually were the ones that went. So I am not this time picking a repeat.
See, last year I got it wrong. I did pick Kansas City and Philly, but I picked Kansas City to get a three-peat last year.
Okay.
So I was wrong.
Yeah, I may not. Now, I'm not necessarily going to pick a winner here right now. I'm just going to pick the Super Bowl.
Okay. All
But
right.
I do have Kansas City going back in the AFC. I still think it's their AFC until somebody tells them it's not.
Which is logical.
You know.
It's absolutely logical.
And
get that.
I do think they're a little amped up to send Travis out in the best way possible before he gets married. It's like a big bachelor party.
Mm-hmm.
And it is because of the addition of one player, but I already had this team being very good, so I thought about it a lot. I'm going to pick the Green Bay Packers to make the Super Bowl. I already had Green Bay winning the Central, or the North, sorry. It used to be the Central. I already had Green Bay winning that division before the Micah trade. I think this elevates them. I think they're motivated. I think Jordan Love is motivated. I like how they operate. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to be better than Philadelphia and Washington and make the Super Bowl. So Green Bay versus Kansas City.
I like it. All right. For me, I'll start in the NFC. I don't think Philly repeats. I just don't. They're talented. They'll be in the playoffs. I just don't think they'll repeat.
It's hard.
It's very hard. If Detroit wouldn't have lost both coordinators, I just think that's a large mountain to climb. If Detroit could have kept one of them, I might be going Lions here because I love Campbell. I love the roster. The other thing, I think Dan Campbell gets a little bit too he's too much of a gambler at times. I think in the playoffs, that might bite you like it did a couple years ago against San Francisco in the NFC Championship game. Sir, look, I'm going to go on a limb here.
Okay.
I have not been a Jordan Love believer because I think he goes through streaks where he takes way too many chances. Last 7 games of 2024, though, guess how many interceptions he threw?
Didn't.
None.
Yeah, he didn't.
I am going to go down the road that Jordan Love is learning how to play the position smarter. I love the Micah Parsons addition. I, too, sir, am going to put the Packers in the Super Bowl because that roster's good.
It's good.
It's a good roster, man.
Good football team.
And the flip side, I believe that either Buffalo or Baltimore is going to get to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And it hurts my heart. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Okay.
I want to pick the Ravens really bad.
Sure.
Because, honestly, people will tell you, personnel people think that's the best roster in football in Baltimore. Until you can get that, whatever that voodoo is that's screwing you up in the postseason, I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay.
To make it over the Ravens.
I'd like to see Lamar make it.
Obviously,
Again, look,
I would too.
and I know you're a Baltimore fan. Like, I want Denver to make it. Denver's not ready for the Super Bowl yet. The defense is really good. I'm not sure that offense can score enough points in the playoffs to get it done. I think Denver makes it back to the playoffs, though, because I do think they have a Super Bowl level defense.
That defense is really good.
And that's going to keep Bo Nix in a lot of games late. But, all right, so you've got Packers, Bills. I've got Packers, Chiefs. And we'll find out in January.
They'd both be wrong.
Maybe so. All right, Jay or Nay coming up. Welcome back in. It is time for Jay or Nay. Yesterday, I got a surprise because we didn't. The computer acted up and didn't want to play our game show music during Jay or Nay, and so then Terry decided to play game show music once we got it going again for the drive around the SEC, which is great. And then I just said we should really just play Price is Right and match game music all the time.
Under everything.
I would honest to God, if like on a 1 to 10 volume scale, if the match game music was playing underneath on one
like this?
all day, like I would yeah, just keep that.
Makes everything we say more fun and whimsical.
You know what I want? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask Chris. But can you restart that?
No.
Okay. Because I just want remember I told you I want the bow bow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna sample that and then loop it. That's what I want, man. That I love the horns and whatever that is, synthesizer. But I just want that beat. That I'm telling you, that's like when Gene was going around with that big tall microphone.
Right, right.
There's Brett, what's her name? Chain smoking.
Brett Summers.
Richard Dawson's drinking a scotch and soda.
See this. Look,
with his turtleneck.
That's the time, right?
Oh, I love that show.
You're right. They're chain smoking. They're drunk. They're sitting around there. It's almost like it was like somebody did a game show in their house.
Yeah,
right.
It was but they were totally, half of them were lit. There's no way they weren't. There's no way.
I'll be honest with you. That's like Hollywood Squares. Half those people were stoned on Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, there's just, and Peter Marshall's just trying to hold it together.
Yeah, and you got Paul Lynde saying all sorts of nasty things about
Goebel.
Everybody. Oh, yeah.
That's great.
It was fantastic.
I know we're showing our age for some of you, but nevertheless.
Yeah, we're old.
All right, so let's do it.
Here we go, my man. Jay or nay? There was a lot of question marks at quarterback in the SEC going into week one. Let's see if any of these question marks were answered at all for you, Jay Phillips. Missouri, Bo Pribula went pretty crazy against the great Central Arkansas
They
defense.
played. That's a high school team.
Jay or nay, feeling better about Pribula?
Better? Nay. I liked him, but I'm not feeling better because I need to see him play a real team.
Jackson Arnold at Auburn ran for 137 yards, threw for over 100. Auburn threw up 38 on Baylor with a 38-24
In
win.
Waco.
Feel better?
Yeah, Jay. I was impressed with Auburn, man. I thought Auburn was going to – I picked Baylor to win that game. Auburn was in control all night. So, yeah.
Gunnar Stockton, very efficient against what's left of Marshall. Threw for 190, ran for 73. Feeling better about Gunnar Stockton?
Jay, and I already felt good. Listen, the quarterback isn't the problem, but he's a good quarterback. So, but I like what he can do. Yes, Jay.
Ty Simpson, 23 of 43, 254, threw for 2 scores, no interceptions, did not have a turnover. Again, Alabama was terrible, but how do you feel about
Ty Simpson? Was good. Jay, yeah, Jay. Do I feel better? Jay, he was good, man. Again, they couldn't run and they couldn't stop the run, but that's not his job. And when he was asked to do the things he's supposed to do, I thought he did them rather well.
John Mateer against Illinois State threw for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did have a pick. How do you feel about Mateer?
I'm gonna reserve judgment. I know he's good. They play Michigan.
We'll see something.
And then we'll see something. Because Illinois State, they kind of like...
it's Illinois State.
Yeah. Headlines coming up.
Let's get you some traffic really quick. We got a few accidents to get into. Garners Ferry Road, Pineview Road, also Garners Ferry Road at exit 9 on I-77. Also 77 northbound, Bluff Road. There's an accident. And 77 southbound at Farrell Road. There's an accident as well.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Thursday. It's also the final hour of the postgame show. Welcome back in along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We appreciate you being with us. Gamecocks hosting South Carolina State on Saturday night. Do remind you that Shane Beamer's next opportunity to be heard from is this evening at 7 o'clock right here on these airwaves with Coach and Todd from Backstreets on Divine. That's over that way here in Columbia. Yep, you saw me.
Which way?
That way. Right over that way. Got to turn around and stretch, man. That's getting old.
I can hear the cracking. I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I stretched earlier, but you got to keep doing it at my age. Mike Shula spoke ahead of the ball game, as did Clayton White. We'll hear more from both men in our Gamecock Notebook in a bit. But here is Mike Shula on the challenge, especially early in the season, of trying to get everybody involved.
I mean, it's you. In an ideal world, they all get several touches, and there's only one football, and that's a tough thing if you're playing a position that you might not get as many touches. Obviously, the only guys are going to touch every player, the center and the quarterback, and then the running back kind of the same. You can have the same question for the running back. So you want to get them all in the mix as fast as you can, but you also don't want to predetermine that and force the issue. And in the meantime, you're kind of giving up things. You're not exactly in the best play. So we kind of want to let it unfold. We obviously, as you watch tape, you think you can kind of there's certain ways you can attack in a defense. You can try to put guys in that position of what they do best. But in the meantime, we're asking our guys, hey, continue to get better at with everything in your own games. And in that way, we don't, that way you're not going to just do this or you just do that. So, it just happens each and every week, how you, there's no predetermining. You don't want to do that. That's the thing I've learned over the years. But for us, more so than anything, kind of like I said earlier, just, let's make first downs, stay out of negative plays, make first downs and stay on the field.
That's a good idea. Stay on the field. More guys get involved.
Idea of staying on the field.
I like that. You'll see a lot more guys get touches this weekend, I would imagine. One of those guys, as he just said, that will touch the ball a lot is Lenoris Sellers. And Coach Shula was asked yesterday, were there times in the ball game Sunday when you did not want your starting quarterback to run the ball?
Cut 6, correct, sir?
Cut 6, yes.
All right.
No, I mean, probably not more than some of the other games in the past. But, yeah, it's just you kind of look at after the game kind of how many touches he has and all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of look at how many called runs you have. And so, I don't think there's any exact science to it. Going back to some of the other guys I've been around that I've coached or been with coaches that have coached quarterbacks. It's just, he's a weapon, both throwing the ball and running the ball. So we want to make sure we use that, but we also want to kind of keep him healthy. Not kind of, we want to keep him healthy.
Yes, not kind of.
Kind of.
I think you and I have talked about this a few times, that last point. Not that keeping him healthy, but again, I think, Terry, it's a very fine line that they're trying to walk up to. And when I say they, I mean Shane and Mike and Lenoris all together in terms of when not to run, if you will. And how that gets, how Lenoris continues to grow in that respect. But let's be honest. There are definitely times when you're like, hey, son, go.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you and I were talking earlier, and I'm not trying to make apples-to-apples comparisons. I'm not. But we were talking about, where Lamar Jackson currently is. Lamar has become a fantastic thrower of the football. And I realize that he's much farther along in his career. But Lamar is an elite runner, regardless of position in the NFL. I mean, I don't know. Is Lamar one of the 10 or 12 best runners of the football? Probably.
Arguably, he's in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
I would think so.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And so, can Lenoris be that? I mean, yes. But you do have to be careful. So, again, this weekend, one of the things I'm looking at is how Lenoris, processes is not the right word, but just how he senses what needs to be done when they call a run for him, when he does get pressured, some of the things that he's going to want to correct from the Virginia Tech game, like the safety, that was a glaring mistake. And I think Lenoris already knows I can do that better. And you and I were talking about that yesterday. There's a lot of guys in sports that realize I got to fix that. We can sit here and talk about, you got to get coached up. You got to get, what you got to do there. Now you just got to go not do the bad stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty simple at times.
And I think, too, just the idea of here, and we saw it this past Sunday. Lenoris is trying to navigate better from the pocket when it comes to reading, going through progressions and reading what the defense is doing. And, he's really trying to stay in there and do those things. And that's great because to be a more complete quarterback, he has to, right?
Yeah.
But, and I would be saying this a lot, we can't forget something here. When this dude tucks the ball and takes off, he's special.
Right.
He's not good, Jay, or he's not really good. He's special.
Right.
And I still think that's got to be incorporated in your game plan. No one wants to see him get hurt, obviously, but it's football. People tackle people. And you got a guy with a special skill set. I just think you have to remember that he has it.
Yeah, and they know that. And that's what I say. That's why it's such a, again, I think it's an incredibly hair-thin, fine line that they're trying to walk up to know when to cross properly, to maybe even move the line a little bit. I'm using a weird analogy there to keep making it, but I don't. The one thing you can't do is go, hey, we know you can run, but you can only run
with scrambles.
Or something. They're not. You can't do that.
No,
either.
I think you don't want the Old Dominion game from last year when Lenoris ran 20-some times or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you don't want that, but you don't want him not using his legs in where, again, I think we've had this talk. I'd like to see 6 to 8 plays in the game are design runs for Lenoris Sellers.
Yeah.
Because I think you still have to put pressure on a defense saying, this guy is going to scare the bejesus out of you by running the ball. I know, and you're right. It's a very tough dance.
Right.
For what Mike Shula
and they all have to learn it together.
They all have to together. So it's a work in progress, yeah.
More on Carolina coming up again in our Gamecock Notebook in just a few minutes' time. Meanwhile, continuing our integrated media headlines of the day to the NCAA's Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee. My God, they got to have so many words. Voted today to move to a January transfer window, which will eliminate the spring window. Let me read verbatim here. This is from Max Olson of ESPN. The proposed loan transfer window would be a 10-day period that opens January 2nd, one day after the college football playoff quarterfinals. The D1 Administrative Committee must now approve legislative changes before it can take effect. That vote is expected to occur, it just says here, before October 1, so sometime later this month. The committee is also proposing making the entire month of December a recruiting dead period. Coaches would be able to have contact with recruits, but would not be allowed to do on or off campus visits or evaluations. So all you can do is call them, text them, whatever else, electronically, digitally.
To be honest with you, I like doing that in the month of December. I think you've got so much going on for these teams in the month of December with, bowl games or college football playoff games or whatever's going on. Plus, there's this thing called a holiday.
Yeah, people have families.
You know what? My first thought is I like that idea. give a little less on your plate in December for these programs. What do you think? That's my first
I
thought.
do, and I know coaches have been asking for some form of change. In fact, I know the highest level of coaches did vote earlier this year in support of the January window. As for the recruiting dead period, look, I think they'll be fine with that. They'll still be working the phones.
Oh, you work the phones, but at least you're not traveling all over.
My biggest concern for the January window, and I know why coaches want it, but we do have to remember that this is still college. So now they have 10 days. You got 10 days to transfer. It's a window. So you got, so I guess you can get in it. It doesn't say here that it would close 10 days later, just that the window would be a 10-day period. It just says the loan transfer window would be a 10-day period that opens January 2. So you go to January 12. All right. A lot of schools start by then.
They start, and also teams are in the college football playoff still.
And those teams, again, we saw the Prabula kid have to go ahead and leave Penn State, and he probably didn't want to.
So I guess my point is I understand not wanting a spring window. I get it. But, again, a January window, there's going to be some teams who are really at a disadvantage being in the playoff. I mean, being in the playoffs, great. But what if you have a Prabula situation where a guy's going to walk away in the middle of a college football playoff because he wants to go be a starter somewhere?
Yeah. And even teams in the semifinals, I mean, that's 4 schools left. They're going to have guys that want to transfer.
Sure. So, again, you can poke holes in everything, but maybe you move that. You don't want it in December, obviously.
That's just it. And coaches don't want it in spring because in spring, they've already missed spring football.
Can I throw you something? How about February?
Well, here's what even then, you got then schools
classes,
in.
But
what I would do, and this is longer term, and again, some would call me crazy, but I liked the idea of college in some ways mimicking the NFL, where, hey, you just don't have spring football in March and April. Instead, you have it because most semesters in college are done by the first week of May.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then you have spring ball and you have transfers then. And then you have spring ball in it because most of the kids are around. Then give them June off. Then they all come back in July anyway. And a lot of them like to take summer classes and whatever. There is no perfect solution.
That's what I was going to say.
No matter what you do, it gets clunky somewhere along the way.
The calendars don't work, whether it's academic or athletic.
Right.
It's all clunky because I'm like you. I'm thinking, the NFL's got this thing streamlined pretty well.
But they don't have school.
Yeah. Last time I checked.
So that's the easy part there.
And that's the thing, because really, for this to make sense, the transfer portal should open when the season is done.
Yeah.
It's done. It's ended. It's over. So, okay, let's go by what you're saying. Let's say you decide to move that spring-ish practice time to May. Then you open the portal at the end of the academic year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come up with, and you give them the 10 days, or really, honestly, give them 14. I think 10 days. I mean, if you only have one portal period, make it a little bit longer than 10 days. Make it 14.
I guess they're going to know if you want to transfer. If you don't.
Yeah, but, you know what? That's for the top half. How about there are a lot of kids involved in the portal, and they're all in different levels of ability. But anyway, that's here or there.
And again, is that just to get in, and then you can still figure it out? You can be in the portal and still be at your school, and you just can't participate in their spring. I mean, there's a host of questions still left to answer.
So I guess the point is somehow you have to have the portal open after everybody finishes playing.
Yeah, and that's why I would have voted, again, for an after the semester portal. Or, again, you can go ahead and get in it, and then you can figure out your school when the semester's done. Like I said, there is no perfect solution.
No, there's not.
But, I'm careful, as I always have been in life or in my career, when I use the words fair and unfair. But is it fair to the percentage of kids, even if they are amongst the 4 best remaining teams in the semifinals, that are now going to be faced with a major decision before the most important game of their life?
And no, it's not. And you can't put those kids in that position. That's my point. That's not right. Forget fair. It's not right because you have 4 teams that have to play with different rules than everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this. Well, you're in the playoffs, so no, that's not right. That's not an explanation or an answer or a pushback. I think the season's got to be over, and everybody's on the same playing field regarding the transfer portal. That's just me.
Like I say, no perfect solution. No. This is not done yet, but typically once this type of NCAA legislation hits this level and gets passed, then it's more of a rubber stamp.
But now I'm all for one portal.
Yeah, me too.
Window.
Me too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't have as much problem with the 10-day. Again, I think you already know by and large, and if you need the 9th and 10th day to decide, then maybe you shouldn't transfer. I don't know. Anyway, but like I say, no solution that's going to make everybody happy. But when school is starting and you got to figure it out in early January, and if you're one of those 4 teams, that's tough. All right, that's our integrated media headlines of the day. The Gamecock Notebook is next. 20 minutes after 5 o'clock here on a Thursday afternoon. Welcome back into the postgame show. Jay and Terry. Time now for our Gamecock Notebook as we get ready for Carolina and SC State, the home opener. South Carolina, again, 99% chance to win the game, according to the ESPN FPI. But I will say, and we said this yesterday, but I want to repeat it because I think I do think it matters. Look, I make no secret of my dislike of FCS games on Power 4 football schedules. I don't mean that for Carolina exclusively. I mean that coast to coast and border to border. But in this case, I do think that you're going to see State bring it as best they can. And to the point you made yesterday, Terry, when we were talking about this, unlike Akron last year, who I think, again, like you said, when their coach does his weekly presser and says in so many words, yeah, we're going to collect a check so we can pay for the athletic department here at beautiful Akron University, or the University of Akron. I don't know which one it is. Should I know that?
No, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter.
I would like to know that now.
I feel like it's University of Akron.
I think it is too.
But
Akron University would also make sense. I don't know which one
right
it is.
Too.
If you're a zip, you can let me know before I have a chance.
Looks like if you're a zit. Go ahead.
Now, if you're a zip.
That'd be a good nickname, the Zits.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, and I don't want to. I don't want to go down that road.
How about that mascot?
No,
Run that mascot through your
I don't
head.
want to go down that road. Let's get back to some Gamecock sound in the meantime, though. During our integrated media headlines, gave you a cut from Mike Shula. I want to go to number 4 right now.
We got
Terry.
that one.
Yeah, thank good. We had a question to Mike Shula about not wanting Lenoris to run at certain times. So why not flip the script? When do you want him to?
I think that, it just kind of, we want to have the ability to be able to have him, run the ball kind of at any time. There's not really any like, hey, this week we're going to run him a bunch in this situation, or run him a bunch, in this manner. I kind of said all along that, he is talented. He's a talented runner, but we want him, whether or not it's obviously a called quarterback run is different, but as far as him running the football on his own, we kind of want him running it because he wants to, maybe, as opposed to, I didn't quite see the read correctly, so I just took off and ran. That's our goal of him getting better. He's very talented. There's a lot of quarterbacks in college and the NFL that, that have the ability to do that. And I think probably every coach is kind of saying the same thing. So, but he did some, some really good things there for us.
Yeah, look, you want him to be able to run at any time. And I'll repeat what I said for those of you who just maybe got in the car after work and didn't hear what we were talking about at the top of the hour. Yeah, a very fine line. And we'll mention more of this tomorrow when we talk with Langston, too. But a very fine line right now, I think, between the designed play calls. For instance, it's pretty obvious the touchdown run early in the game. All right, now you're going to run.
Yeah.
Couple of, like there was the one scramble going to the opposite end zone, I forget exactly, or going towards that direction, when he had that little spin thing and got around the guy and then goes out and runs left. And I'm like, I don't even know how the hell you do things like that. Whatever. like, good for you, son. I don't know. Just that's, you don't design that.
No.
And you can't teach that either.
No.
But he does it.
Yeah. Well,
And then where are those moments? And again, what should he have done 1 second earlier than getting sacked, a second and a half earlier? It's those in the middles that he's still, and I think you could tell I don't want to run the ball here, but I do, but I shouldn't. And again, readjusting to where that is for him. And we should all be so lucky to have those kind of problems with an athletic talent like Lenoris Sellers. But you can tell. And on the when he got popped and fumbled near midfield, that was another one. Like, I know I can run right now. I want to see and then bang, it blows up.
It's interesting because we always look at this as a yes, no, either or, black and white topic, right? But here's the thing. That great run against Clemson, he dropped back to pass and took off.
And processed.
Yes. And
then it's like, oh.
Yeah. And then some of those runs against A&M is because he was spinning out of possible sacks and took off. And the A&M guys are going, I just had him. What happened? But then there are times he has made big plays on design runs. There are times, and we talk about getting hurt all the time on running. Well, again, he got lit up in the pocket in that game against Virginia Tech. It's such a fluid thing. And it's not, again, this either or kind of idea, because a quarterback can get hit and hurt anywhere. Not just, again, you go back to some of the injuries quarterbacks have suffered, whether pro and college. A lot of those guys were in the pocket and got hit. Is the pocket safer? Yeah, in theory, but it doesn't mean you're never going to get hurt there. Just like taking off and running, you're putting yourself in danger, right? Doesn't mean you're automatically going to get hurt doing that either. So to what we talked about earlier, this is a real tightrope. And it's a real, yes, you've got this wonderfully talented quarterback who can take off and just make defenses nuts. But you also want him to, like Mike Shula said, and this is a very fair point, you don't want him taking off because he can't read the defense. You want him to take off because he went through the progressions, nobody's open, the heat's coming, I'm going to tuck it and run. That's what you want. You don't want him to have one read and just go because he's confused or he can't read it. And I believe we all can agree on that one.
Yeah. And you can work on that to a large degree this weekend. And I do think Lenoris maybe plays a little longer this weekend. Look, as long as things are going the way you believe they are. And I won't give my pick yet, but I've sent it to Jack, and so tomorrow we'll review
9 o'clock tomorrow morning, right?
I think that's right.
I'll get mine at 10.
Yeah, I believe you.
I got threatened this week. I'm starting to get heat.
Saw that.
Get a little heat. You saw that on the group text, right?
These deadlines, Jack's got a lot to do.
Yeah, Jack's getting frosty.
Well, he's got. We gave him extra work, and now he's doing this.
That's true.
Real quick, one more here in our Gamecock notebook from Coach Shula. Oscar Adaway got about, give or take, 40% of South Carolina's rushing attempts. Cut number 5, please, sir. Here is Mike Shula on their plans and usage of Oscar.
Yeah, he's been probably, and that group's a good group. I'll say that to start with. They worked hard and they played physical. They played really hard the other day, physical. And he's probably been the most consistent throughout, going back to day one of spring ball. And he's got a very, kind of a lunch pail mentality of just, being that steady force, whether or not it's, running the football, catching it, pass protecting. So, you kind of want guys like that. And again, it's not really ever dictated kind of, especially we talked about the running backs last week on how we're going to kind of substitute those guys. It's just kind of the game starts one way, and then sometimes you have certain plays for like Oscar, or maybe for Rasul or whoever, Isaiah, whoever. And then after that, we just kind of let it go. And the biggest thing for us is, hey, let's stay on the field so they all can kind of get into a groove. But he's been really good. He's been a steadying force.
That was a theme for Mike and a couple of questions there. Again, I can spread the ball around more if we have the ball more. So, hey, you want the ball more? Let's stay on the field.
Move your chains, baby.
Yeah, first downs. I don't disagree with that.
I don't either.
And the time of possession was heavily in favor of Virginia Tech the other day.
Yeah.
Right?
They won 32-28 or something, something like that.
I was thinking
off the
it
top
was
of my
more,
head.
but I'll...
Maybe. Can't remember that far.
34-26.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was 34. I thought it was like 30. Well, geez, that was a huge difference in time of possession.
Really, 34-09 to 25-51 if you want to be
And that's what we always say. Time of possession is a very misleading stat at times.
It can be.
It can't be an end-all, be-all.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Unless you didn't score.
Or you never have the ball to score. Well, think about that. Virginia Tech couldn't get in the end zone, had the ball 36 minutes.
Yeah.
To the point.
Yeah.
There you go.
But the turnovers will get you. All right. That's our Gamecock notebook. Come back on the other side with a drive around the SEC. Yes, it's football season, but there is some real big baseball news to tell you about coming up.
You know, we as guys, I include myself and I'll include Jay Phillips too, we're just stubborn. We don't want to admit we got a problem. We don't admit anything's an issue. You know, when the car, you know, the funny thing, when your car makes a noise, some of us just turn up the stereo. Look, it's fixed. You can't do that with yourself, with your body. Things start going sideways on you. You don't sleep as well as you used to. You're not as strong at the gym. You don't recover from a workout like you used to. You can't remember things like you used to. You don't have the same drive in life. Pick a room in the house. You don't have the same drive. It could be low testosterone. It could be something that simple. Call the Men's Clinic, 803-875-MENS. Go in, tell your story. If the folks at the Men's Clinic think it could be low T, they'll do some lab work. If it comes back low testosterone, they'll put you in a specialized program designed for you to get you back to being you. 803-875-MENS. Make the call, the Men's Clinic. Things are starting to get cleaned up on the roads. Still accidents on I-77, though. So you might want to find alternate transportation, or or alternate routes. I-77 northbound before Bluff Road, also southbound after Bluff Road. So that area there around Exit 5, I-77 north and southbound around Bluff Road, there are issues. I-77 northbound to Garners Ferry Road is still having a problem there at Exit 9. I-26 eastbound approaching St. Andrews at exit 106. I-126 eastbound at Hugie also with an issue right now. North Church Street at West Main Street, Lexington Woods, also with an accident. We'll come back. A drive around the SEC is next here on the postgame show.
It is Drive Around the SEC time here on this Thursday. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Friday. Maybe because I'm just ready for the home opener. I don't know. I'm not. Again, I've never wanted to wish my life away. Life is good. Enjoy it while you can. Mm-hmm. But I've caught myself like 5 times today at least from saying Friday. I'm so ready for tomorrow's
Man,
show.
plus, remember, it was Labor Day weekend, and
Well, we worked, but I just love our Football Friday show. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
now.
Football Fridays are
Football
fun.
Friday shows are just they're the best, man.
because they write themselves. They're fun. They're easy. They're a good time. We all dig football, so Football Fridays are always fun.
It's fun.
And then the Monday reaction usually is fun, unless
It depends. That
really
depends.
goes ugly and bad. That's never a good show.
I
but-
do always. I love it when my friends hit me after really either way, but like especially if it's not a good game, and they'll be like, "Oh,
Here's the
you're gonna be
dirty
busy
little-
on Monday," and I'm like, "Well, I hope I am anyway." It'll be a different vibe.
The dirty little secret of what we do is if you're a fan of the team in the market you work in, you're like, you hate to see a loss, obviously. But here's the interesting part about our business, and you know this. When it comes to listener engagement, you get a ton more on a loss than you do a win.
Yeah.
Unless it's a big, giant win. Like last year, South Carolina goes to Clemson and wins, you get a lot of engagement.
That was
But typically, you're going to always get more engagement off a loss
Yes.
than you are a win, which is it's a very interesting psychological experiment.
It is. Well,
on
I
how
think
we are.
because we are here for you guys, and I
lay
say
on the couch,
we, but
lay
yeah,
on the couch.
yeah.
Let's get it out.
Let's talk it out.
We're therapists on the days they lose.
Especially because that's my biggest question in sport. When you lose, tell me how you lost. What are we looking at here?
Yeah.
So I get it.
But but the Fridays are the best ones.
Yeah. So again, I've caught myself, but it is Thursday still for a few more hours. Before we talk a little bit more about football, and there is another. The news at Alabama is getting worse. There is major baseball news to tell you about today because the Louisiana State University Board has today made Jay Johnson the highest paid college baseball coach ever. He becomes a $3 million coach. It's actually 3.05 starting next season, runs through 2032. His compensation increases annually, and in the final year of the deal, he is scheduled to make $3.65 million. So in total, before bonuses, Jay Johnson will be paid $23.45 million. Now, we obviously know that bonuses are there for things like making and winning the College World Series.
Which he's done
And he's
twice.
done that a couple of
Yes.
times. So I don't know exactly what those bonuses look like. But again, he has won 2 championships. By the way, his assistants and much of their developmental staff will also be receiving new, improved contracts. So there you go.
Hey, look, guys won 2 in the last 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
The way this thing goes, timing's everything, and I get it. You can't sit here and go, oh, my God, he doesn't deserve it. Absolutely he does for what he's done there. But, there's a guy in Knoxville, Tennessee who's quite happy right now.
Yeah. And I think Tony Vitello, Jim Schlossnagle, Tim Corbin, Brian O'Connor.
Because O'Connor just got a new gig.
He got his at State, yeah. Well, what a good get for State.
That's a really good get for State.
And I feel like I'm forgetting.
There are a bunch of
somebody.
guys.
Those guys are all making like 2.5 or more.
There's a level of coach right now who's smiling.
Yeah.
Again,
And I imagine Sully's around that down at UF.
Yeah,
We're buds, so I can call him that.
Last year was interesting at the end for Sully, but he's won multiple titles. He's been to the College World Series a bunch. So he's a guy that when it's his time,
Yeah.
guess who's going to be using this contract as some leverage?
Yeah, and again, Jay Johnson, listen, you are worth what someone is willing to pay you,
Absolutely.
and LSU, is obviously a school that very much wants to be at the top of college baseball, and they are.
Long tradition, man.
Yeah, I don't know where Dave Van Horn is. I'm trying to think of some of the other just big contracts. But good for him. But he eclipses now the $3 million per year mark as a college baseball coach.
There you go.
That's
By the way, these schools have no money. That's all we're hearing, right?
That's right.
Well, these kids get paid. What are we going to do? Mm-hmm.
Find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way. Continuing our drive around the SEC, Alabama now has announced that they will be without star defensive lineman Jeremiah Beeman for the rest of the season. Kalen DeBoer announcing his status on his weekly radio show earlier this week. Started last week's game at Florida State, but all they've called it so far is a lower body injury that he suffered in practice yesterday. So that's another big blow for a program that is reeling at this point. You know, after just an embarrassing loss to Florida State, fan base is in an uproar. You know, you've got a team that is not used to lose. I mean, this is the fourth time they've lost as a double-digit spread, favorite rather, under Kalen DeBoer. And he's been there one season and one game. I mean, it's you know, I get it. It's tough, but you'd lose another starter. Tim Keenan, by the way, was also somebody who was sidelined last week as a starter on the defensive line, and he is not going to be available this week. But they say it's not a long-term injury. But for Jeremiah Beeman, it is. And again, what Alabama has on their lines, Terry, as we all know, is quality depth.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's a big blow. And again, lower body injury. I don't know. That could be a host of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want
There's
to.
a bunch of different levels of lower body.
Yeah, I don't want to make light of it. I mean, knee, ankle, Achilles,
Who
hip,
knows? Who knows?
groin.
Man.
I don't.
But
But if it's season ending, man, if it's season ending, it's
ready. If it's season ending, just tell us. Who cares at that point?
And I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, eventually.
We'll find out.
But it's so funny how this has become like this started in hockey, because hockey had the lower body injury, upper body injury for a while, and now all the other sports are picking up on the hockey deal. Or we'll just give you a region of injury,
Right.
somewhere between the top of his head and the bottom of his feet.
Well, you make a good point. Since it's season ending,
Who cares?
I'm not sure why you would need to be coy. If it's let's be honest, if it's not season ending and you want to say lower or upper, it doesn't give your future opponents a chance to go, all right, now listen, number whatever, got a bad knee.
Right.
Got a bad knee, go for that knee. Or
Right.
hey, the quarterback, and he landed on his shoulder funny the other day. So go for that shoulder.
Yeah.
Just upper body. That could be anything.
And, I mean, since season ending, what's the big secret?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was the doctor going to hit him? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here?
But again, another tough blow for Alabama football. But again, they'll beat Monroe this weekend.
Yes.
They'll beat Monroe.
They'll beat Monroe.
And then we'll figure it out.
They better. They'll beat Monroe.
There you go. And that's it for now. Again, we talked. We'll do a lot more in depth tomorrow on the weekend. Again, biggest game of the weekend. Well, there's a conference game, so I don't want to discount that. There's the Ole Miss goes to Kentucky. That's the only conference game.
You
so
feel
far.
like Ole Miss should have an easy time, or at least walk out of there with a W.
Yes.
That's the feeling. Yes.
I absolutely feel that way. In fact, let's see. Let's see if the percentage chance has changed. Remember, we played Price is Right with that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It has not. It is still at 83.6% for Mississippi to go to Lexington and win.
Think about where Kentucky is right now. It's your SEC home opener,
8.5-point dog.
and you have
84% chance to
roughly
lose.
a 17% chance to win by the predictor.
Yep. Not
That's
easy.
where you're at.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah, it gets dicey, and Zach Calzada was not good the other day.
No, he was not good. Really, they really
They weren't
grinded
good.
their
I
way.
thought. Listen. I kind of thought Toledo.
Hey, they covered. Remember, we all said they were going to cover.
They
It was
hung around.
9.5 or
They hung
whatever.
around.
Uh-huh.
They did. Kentucky had a big play in the middle of the game that kind of sealed the deal for them.
Kentucky was not impressive.
No.
Let's just put it that way.
No. That's our drive around the SEC. Some final start bench drops and a little Jay versus the internet coming up. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of the post-game show here on this Thursday. Once again, happy football season for you NFL types. Today is your opening day. I would like to believe that Mrs. Phillips is going to be happy later on, but
No.
I don't believe that.
No, I think Philly wins, and they cover, is my guess.
Yeah, I don't. The spread doesn't concern me. I just
It shouldn't.
Mrs. Phillips is. I
don't think if
she's
you
a
look-
very big Dallas Cowboys.
Let's say the Eagles win by 3 on a field goal at the gun. You can't look at Mrs. Phillips and say, sweetheart, I know you're upset the Cowboys lost, but hey, on the bright side, they covered.
I'd rather them lose by 33. I assure you. Because if they only lose by 3 on the road, she'll be like, if they had done so-and-so right.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Again, y'all, it's because I usually, when the Cowboys are playing, if it's in the afternoon, if it's a night game or something, then it's different, right? Then I'm watching with her, like tonight. But if it's a day game, because the Cowboys are always on TV. My Broncos are always on TV, and I like Red Zone. She likes Red Zone too, but more often than not, she'll be wanting to watch the Cowboys. And so I'll be in one room where I have Red Zone on, and she'll be in another room where she has the Cowboys on. And I will hear things, and I'll clean it up. I'll hear things like, gee whiz.
You know, it'd be funny if that's actually what she was saying.
And then,
gee golly willikers, come on, Dad.
like, darn it.
Oh, the heck.
And then like 10 seconds later, Scott Hansen will have it on Red Zone or whatever it might be. And I'll be like, oh, that's what that was. She doesn't usually say gee whiz.
No gee whiz?
No jeepers.
No golly willikers?
No, not usually. It's
No
close.
whoopsie daisies?
It's close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Same number of syllables a lot of times.
Yeah.
So anyway,
man.
start bench drop.
What do you got, man?
All right, I've been backing and forth, and some people are going to think, really, dude? But yeah, really. I'm going to start Lamar Jackson. I love Lamar, and I know he hasn't done enough in the postseason, and I know what that's about. I totally get it. I do think that day is coming, but he's just such a difference maker. And I like all three of these guys. This one's hard for me, and that's why I like start bench drop when it's really hard. But I'm going to start Lamar. I'm going to bench Patrick Mahomes, and yes, I am going to drop the reigning Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. And I got to drop somebody. That's the nature of the exercise.
Yes.
I'm in the minority because most people have dropped Lamar today.
Yeah, over the postseason.
Yeah, and again, the reasoning is perfectly
It's fine.
You do what you want to do.
This is not a right wrong. This is how you think and feel.
But
That's all this is.
I am, and maybe I'm being too subjective because I'm just a big Lamar Jackson fan, even if I don't pull for his team. But that's where I am. So start Lamar,
Okay.
bench Patrick, drop Jalen.
I'm going to start Mahomes because I still think that Mahomes, there's no better thrower of the football than Mahomes. I know that the numbers have been going down, but I think there's a lot. See, I think there's a lot to this, Jay, that we don't talk about because, again, we think quarterbacks are like your Avengers pinball machine, and they're not. You got to there is a small percentage of guys who make the players around them better.
Right.
But you can't turn a turd into a diamond. You just can't. And I think Patrick Mahomes has had a lot of non-diamonds around him since Tyreek Hill left, except for Travis Kelce, to be fair.
Right.
So I'm gonna start Mahomes because Mahomes is not Lamar, but Mahomes can take off and run that
He can
thing.
certainly extend a play.
It doesn't look pretty at times.
Yeah, he can
but
extend a play.
Mahomes takes off when he has to.
Yeah.
I'm going to then bench Lamar because no quarterback right now affects the game of football the way Lamar Jackson does. He's dangerous. He's scary. Regular season Lamar, obviously. The reason I'm going to drop Jalen Hurts is this. Look at what Jalen Hurts has around him, sir. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown. You got Smith at the other receiver position. You got Goddard at tight end. You have the best offensive line in football.
That line, man, that line.
And this is not to knock Hurts.
Right.
But everything around him. Do you think Lamar and Mahomes would like to have that?
Yeah, they would.
So, again, everybody's got their opinions.
Yep.
For me, it's Mahomes I'm going to start. I'm going to bench Lamar, and I'm going to drop Jalen. Even though I'm going to say this, I have a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts.
I love
I'm
Jalen.
not
He's
a
great.
hater of
He's
Jalen
great.
Hurts at all.
He's great.
I think Jalen Hurts doesn't get enough credit for as good as he is. But if
and
I
if
got to
you-
do this exercise, that's the way I go.
I mean, and listen, I mean, for my team, if you said, hey, you could have Bo Nix or Jalen Hurts, give me Jalen Hurts. I get it.
Exactly. Oh,
You know, I mean, I'll replace him with my guy, you know, or I'll replace my guy with him. But anyway, that's it.
Quickly.
All right, let's do
Quickly,
it.
sir.
Yeah, very
We're running
fast.
out of time.
Very fast.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. All right. I got to get it back on my phone. Jay versus the internet. Oh, geez. Ready?
Yes.
Paul Skeens over under 6 1/3 innings pitched tonight.
Under.
Will the Rays make it 7 in a row versus the Guardians at home?
Yes.
Aaron Judge will hit a home run for Christian Javier tonight.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Jay versus the internet.
Look
That
at
was
that.
fun. By the way, you were miserable last
I
week.
usually am. That's the way it
All right, we're
works,
done,
man. I'm
man.
good with it. Thanks to Lulu Kesson for joining us. Langston on the program tomorrow. Wild Card Showdown tomorrow on a Football Friday. See y'all then. And one final note from our great friends at Cato's Power Equipment. Yard work season is all year long. And right now, Cato's can get you set up into things that can help you out so much. How about shopping their zero-turn mowers? Columbia's top lawnmower store, Cato's Power Equipment. They've got some brand new ones in from Gravely, from